Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning to everyone. Evening, afternoon. My name is Joshua Ellis. I'm from yieldsApp. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. Over the next hour, I'd like to explore what I believe is one of the biggest shifts currently taking place in agriculture. This isn't a presentation about artificial intelligence. It's not a presentation about satellite imagery, and it's not really a presentation about the software. It's about how agricultural organizations operate. Now, over the past 2 decades, we've transformed how we understand fields. Today, I believe the next challenge is transforming how we coordinate with the agricultural operation. So that's the journey I'd like to take you through today. Okay? All right. The problem has changed. Now, if we look back in the last 40 years, agriculture achieved something remarkable. Mechanization, you can see in the 1980s, has allowed us to cultivate more land with fewer people. Precision agriculture introduced us to GPS guidance, yield mapping, variable rate applications, thus allowing farmers to manage variable within the individual fields. Digital agriculture expanded the capabilities by bringing together weather data, satellite imagery, mobile scouting, sensors, connected machinery, and farm management softwares. Now, more recently, as we progress now, more present, artificial intelligence has accelerated our ability to interpret information, identify specific patterns, and support agronomic decisions making. In many ways, agriculture has become one of the most technologically advanced industries in the world. Now, that's an incredible success story, and it's an important to acknowledge that. It's something, the reason why I'm stating it, because the challenge we're facing today isn't the result of technology failing, it's a result of technology succeeding. All right. So, as agriculture became more sophisticated, organizations became more sophisticated too. Food companies expanded their sourcing networks. Governments launched larger extension programs and extension services. Cooperatives and consultants grew. Processors began to work across multiple regions, and exporters entered new markets. Now, at the same time, organizations were asked to deliver much more than simply producing crops. You see right here. Okay. Today, they're responsible for sustainability, traceability, carbon initiatives, food safety, regulatory compliance, supplier development, forecasting, quality, consistency, risk management. So you can see the challenge isn't just producing food anymore. It's coordinating increasingly complex agricultural operations, and that's a very different problem. So now here's something interesting. Well, agriculture became dramatically more complex. The way many organizations coordinated those operation changes the way these operations did very little to change, essentially. Okay. So let's pause a moment, take a look at this little graph that I've created. Okay. Think about how information flows through a typical agricultural organization. Okay. You'd be a consultant, food and beverage company, export, doesn't matter. It's all the same. Okay. Weather data comes from one system, satellite imagery comes from another, laboratory reports arrive separately. Field teams submit observations through mobile phone, maybe an application, an Excel sheet, an email. All right. Production forecast lives somewhere else. Procurement has one view. The agronomy team has another. Sustainability another. Right. Management receives reports after they've already been consolidated. Now, this is not wrong. Every system is useful and every team is doing its job. The problem isn't that the individual tool is broken or the person is not doing his job. The problem is that the organization is trying to coordinate a number of decisions across a disconnected information system. Okay. Or system streams, however you like to put it. So as the organizations become larger, that coordination challenge grows dramatically, exponentially. Okay. And this leads to the fundamental question. The, the question has changed. So for most of the last 20 years, the industry's biggest question was, how do we better understand what's happening in an individual field? Like what's going on? That question drove incredible innovation. All right. And rightly so. Today, I think the question has changed. Organizations are no longer asking, how is this field performing? They're asking, where should our field team focus today? Which suppliers require immediate attention? Can we trust our projected production forecast? Are programs being executed consistently? Are we committed to our sustainability? And is it actually happening? See, what I'm talking about right now aren't field questions anymore. They're organizational questions. They're operational questions. And that's where I believe agricultural is entering its next phase. So if the question has changed, have if the question's changed, have the tools changed with it? No, talk about the missing layer. So at this point of time, you might be thinking, well, if we already have all these technologies, why is it still difficult? And it's really a fair question. So the answer isn't that agricultural needs more technology. Okay. Agriculture has excellent technology. All right. We have the ability to gather so many layers of data from the sky, from the ground, from the plant itself. All right. We have outstanding weather platforms. We have excellent satellite indices, highly sophisticated crop models, um, very powerful farm management systems, and also connected equipment. All right. So the industry has invested heavily in solving the information problem. The challenge today is different. The challenge is making sure the right people take the right action at the right time across the entire agricultural organization. That's coordination challenge. That's not a technology challenge. And once you recognize that, you'll start looking at today's technology in a different way. So every technology shown here creates value. We talked about this, okay? And that's very important. So this isn't about replacing existing investments. Satellite imagery tells us what's happening with with indices, okay? Weather forecast tells us what might happen. All right. Farm management systems organize the farm records, logistical, so on and so forth. All right. ERP systems, they manage business operations. All right. Laboratories, they provide the agronomical insight. And artificial intelligence improves recommendations. Now, these are all essential capabilities. But if you're responsible for managing 3,000 fields, none of these answers, none of these answers one simple question. What should my organization do today? That's fundamentally a different problem. And once that question changes, sorry, once the question changes, the capability also requires change. So whether you're a food company, a cooperative, a government agency, an exporter, processor, the question has become remarkably similar. Okay, not what's the NDVI for this field or NDMI in this field, not what's today's evapotranspiration, but uh, those are important. All right, but executives are responsible for something much bigger. They're responsible for outcomes. All right, supply continuity, forecast confidence, program execution, resource allocation, risk, consistency, the list goes on. All right. So the language changes, the responsibility changes, the underlying question doesn't. So, how do we coordinate thousands of independent decisions as if they were one operation? And that question led us to the realization. All right. So, as we looked across different organizations, all right, food companies, like I said, cooperatives, government programs, the commercial farming operations, we noticed something interesting. Everyone was investing in better information, but almost nobody was investing in the operational layer connecting that information. Think about it in this way. We became very good at understanding individual fields. We became reasonably good at managing individual farms. But when organization manages thousands of fields or thousands of farmers, all right. There wasn't an equivalent layer designed that's to coordinate the network itself. That gap isn't a software feature, it's an operational capability. And once we recognize that, everything that I started talking about starts making sense. All right. So the missing piece wasn't another source of information. We talk about it. We have the information. All right. It was a new layer of operational intelligence. So the yields up, we began thinking about the challenge differently, not as another dashboard, not as another agronomic recommendation engine, not even as another AI application, but as a operational layer, a layer that's responsible for continuously transforming information into coordinated organizational actions. All right. Not helping one farmer make one decision, helping the entire organization coordinate thousands of decisions every single day. We call that capability agricultural operational intelligence. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't replacing precision agriculture, it's building on it. All right. Precision agriculture has helped us understand individual fields. Agricultural operational intelligence is going to help us organization coordinate everything that happens because of that understanding. It's basically the bridge between the information and the execution. Okay. So if this capability doesn't exist today, what will we need to do? Right? So we need to continuously collect information from different sources, keep all that data not to be used. All right. Understand what that information means operationally, not just agronomically. You have to prioritize what matters today, not just simply report what's happening yesterday. Coordinate actions across growers, field teams, advisors, management. Verify that those actions were completed and measure their impacts. That's what you would have to do right now. Okay. But today, it gives me great pleasure to introduce that missing layer. Okay. So again, I'm very happy to talk about GENI. All right. Powered by yieldsApp. If you guys are familiar with our um, main platform, I would say the mothership. All right. GENI is a grower network intelligence system. Okay. Layer, I would like to say. So it's operational infrastructure for scaling agronomic programs across supplier networks. All right. So what does Genie do? So it enables across grower networks. It does helps with the adoption. So it helps turn the agronomic and sustainable protocols into practical field level guidance for the farmers, the advisors, or the specific suppliers. All right. It drives impact. So it improves the decisions that actually affect the field, the quality, the input efficiency, the water use, the soil, and the crop risk. All right. And it monitors the growing network. So it's tracking everything, the transparency and traceability, tracking the crop status, planting and harvest progress, yield forecasts, risk, and underperforming areas across suppliers, regions, and specific fields. So here is a great visual, and I love this because it really shows how all these different information is being utilized into the system. And in this case, specifically, GENI. Okay, so here we have all these signals and data layers from field and grower data, which can be from soil analysis, it could be from images, field reports, observations. Then you have layer signals for agro-environmental, which are satellite imagery, weather stations, soil layers, additional integration of technologies. And then you have one of the critical one, which is the institutional signals, right? The knowledge database, where you have specific crop and pest and disease models created by yieldsApp internally. All right. Now, all this information runs through and funnels right to our agronomic intelligence system, yieldsApp. All right. And it gets spread out. Now, for on the right-hand side, we see here for the field, for the farmer, they're able to go in the field with a phone, with the app to do all that's needed to be done on the field, to apply specific products, to do harvest, to make notes, to go scouting. Everything is in one phone application. All right. All that information is also funneled back. So all actions taken will be funneled back where the organization gets that oversight, where I can see everything happen and I can also gain these new agronomical insights that I never had before because everything's been connected. All right. And that's the thing with agriculture. We're going to jump right back into it. Everything's connected. You cannot just focus on one thing and expect the other one to fill that void, fill the gaps. Okay. This everything works itself. So the water affects with the pests, with the nutrients and the fertilizers, everything plays off each other. When we connect everything, and that's with the additional tools, we get a clearer picture, which allows us to get better and more accurate recommendations, insight, and advice. Okay. So why an intelligent layer? All right. Commitments and targets are in place. All right. These are things that we are tasked to. You would like to set up the system in the way you design it. All right. Ingredient sourcing teams, sustainability and ESG teams, agronomy and technical teams, supplier and farm networks. These are all layers that can be utilized. Okay. So we'll just get up there. All right. So by yieldsApp bridging sustainability goals, it takes it to the field level. All right. So now I can, instead of working on just one farmer at a time, I can work on one program and expand that to all my farmers, where in the system will take in consideration all the different variabilities. Okay. Field, crop, yield, all those beautiful things. So what does the network intelligence enable at scale? Okay, so instead of the isolated field data, GENI is producing continuous and comparative view across the whole network. All right, well, I'll take you a little tour after. All right, so it shows you the performance tracking, compares growers, the regions, seasons, varieties, performance. All right, it helps detect outliners, so automatically identifies underperforming fields, risk fields, pest, disease, weather alerts. All right, before they actually become a supply issue. Early risk warnings. All right. So identifies patterns that cut across part of the network, like disease pressure, the weather, fertilizer shortage. All right. And then we have our aggregated signals, where produce productivity and risk summaries for decision makers, actionable and intelligence. All right. So the platform's capabilities. So now we're going to take a little more of the visual. What you actually see in the system. So with the crop intelligence, you can identify what is grown in each field and how it changes over time. All right, based on crop type, classification, season, crop rotation, all the fun agronomical things you would like to know. All right, timing, phenology. So the system is detecting in real time planting dates and windows, harvest timing, deviations from expected agronomic calendars, all right, or unexpected agronomic calendars. Sorry about that. All right, risk and yield prediction. So it monitor growth stages, it detects anomalies and stress early. network visibility. So it produces a continuous operational picture for the decision makers, the managers, all the way down to the farmhands themselves. All right. So this is what we're going to take a look at from the network intelligence to field execution. All right. So you can see from the operational standpoint, from the oversight, what you get is the network level visibility, right? You get crop identifications and the season mapping. You get the planting and the harvest timing at scale in order to fulfill those quotas needed to your potential consumers, customers, and clients. All right. Risk and stress performance monitoring. So seeing how issues that are affected in the field and how they are, are dealt with. Okay. Portfolio benchmarking, and anomaly alerts. All right. So this is like the operational side. Now on the field side, right? This is from the farm level. All right. These farmers are now getting field specific fertilizer protocols, okay, utilizing all that informational layers. It provides dynamic irrigation guidance and schedules. It tells you what to water, how much water the crop needs, when to water, all right, when to, to let it get thirsty. It tells you every little step. In regards to pest and disease and stress alerts, it notifies you. If you identify it, it also recommends the product to treat that. All right. In addition to that, it also provides these preventative actions. So once you've created your farm in the field, it'll automatically give you a full protocol for pest and disease. All right. Crop protection recommendations, which I just mentioned, farm and field team mobile access. So again, the system is very nice. It has a lot of tools for everybody in the organization, from the operational executives all the way down to the farm managers. All right. Um, we have a very simplified app on the phone, which allows any of the farm employees to just either report what was found, to report applications, to report any issues in the field, or to validate or correlate things that you're seeing in the system. Okay. So what Genie monitors in the field? So crop rotation, land use. So was the intended crop rotation followed? It identifies field deviating from the plan by season, by region, or supplier, right? Planting and tillage timing. So it tracks planting windows, it detects late or skipped operations, and flag deviations from reduced tillage protocols. In input and cover crop adoption, it monitors whether the crops were planted and assess whether the fertilizer and crop protection decisions aligned with those protocols. All right. Crop stress and performance detects early stress signals, drought, nutrient deficiency, disease pressures, and benchmark performance across the network. All right. A little more about what it's doing in regards to water, fertilization, pest and disease. All right. So you have irrigation schedules, like I mentioned. So it provides you field specific irrigation guidance based on crop types, growth, weather. All right. Even with or without sensors. So if you have sensors, great. That's another layer of more accurate data. If you don't, the system still provides you a basis. All right. With the fertilizer optimization, you get dynamic fertilization protocols based on soil data, the crop's needs, real-time conditions. All right. This reduces dramatically over application. All right. Nitrogen efficiency, we all know that, monitors the nitrogen use in the field. Risk and stress alert, early warnings for water, stress, extreme weather, uh, pest and disease protocols. So the list does go on in regards to the uh, layers in the system. All right. So here's another some visual snapshots to give you guys a little view of the system without getting right into the system yet. All right. So you can see in the system, you can upload soil analysis at different layers. You get full fertilizer recommendations for every individual field or zone. You get a clear picture of the precipitation and rainfall. You have your sensors. So if you are utilizing sensors, you connect it directly into the system with the API code. Very easy. All right. So are we just talking? No, we've done this. All right. We've proven ourselves, um, and we keep proving ourselves. All right. Impact on the production. Here's a couple of things that we've done on large scale works, Department of Agriculture, the World Bank. Um, this was over 2,000 farmers. All right. Smallholder farmers in Ethiopia, large food and beverages companies in Mexico. So we have had very great results, and we're only um, getting more excited with the new technology that we provide. So adoption and practice by smallholder farmers. So we said any farmer can utilize the system. If you doesn't matter what kind of farmer you're working with. If you're working with farmers that have everything to their accessibility, and that can mean products, maybe sensors, soil analysis, something, or you can have farmers that have nothing to their ability, maybe very minimal, maybe blended fertilizer, something. We work with them all. All right. The system is able to still work with them because it fills those missing gaps with models and the information that we've created in the system. So in regards to smallholder farmers, to be able to go in the field and to see exactly what you need to do today, what field, what zone, what to do, and then record what you did. So that connection. So we know what action was actually taken on that field. And that can correlate with a lot of other things as we play around in the system. All right. Here's a little bit more of a real, like, a number game, I'd like to say. This was in malt uh, barley in Mexico. Okay. And you can see right here just the numbers. And this is what's happening. And this is what happens when you're connecting all those tools that you're already using or your farmers are already using in the field. Okay. So we can see increase of yield, all right, by 14%, better quality. So reduce the protein and humidity. So we reduce 40% of the fertilizer costs as well. All right. And this is a large scale operation. Okay. Well, a lot of people are going to ask what kind of crops we work with. We work with every kind of crops. All right. Here's kind of a map of where we're operationally active right now, um, across the globe for large portions of the time. All right. And in addition to that, whoops, sorry about that. We didn't see this. My little slide didn't show up, but um, we were recognized around the world. So we have won and I like to show you or like to gloat a little bit, but across the globe, we have gained the recognition um, because we are solving a big issue in the industry right now. And if you're interested to learn a little bit more in depth, again, we can have discussion out. Now, since we've ended the kind of the presentation side of it, let's go real time. Let's go into the system. Let's take a couple minutes and just see what's going on in the system. We'll take a look at GENI, okay? And we will take a look at the system around. So just give me 1 second so I can change the screen. All right. All right, 1 second. Bear with me. And I will get that question all the time. It's my real background. It's not a things that it's not sharing. Give me a second. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. A little technical difficulty. It's on Zoom, not me. I think you should be able to see this. All right. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So this is what we're looking at right now is GENI. Okay. I can see there's 217 fields. There's no issues in the field right now. 14% of those fields are ready to harvest. I have all these different tools of what rate is to basically go through. Okay. Stage of growth, when are they ready, what's maturity, what percentage. I can look at the yields. I can take a look at the fields themselves. I can look at the different stages, what's producing, what's not. That's on the farm side. All right. I can take a look at specific levels, yields at risk, pest or disease. So now, instead of looking at an individual on a field side, I'm able to look on a large scale. Okay. And this gives me that visual dashboard that I need. All right. To be able to cover all those fields. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do one more screen. Just give me a second. Because we talked, I just gave you a little glance of give you a little glance of the operational side, right? Where we can see GENI and you can see all those information. Well, how do we get that? Well, here I'm going to show you the farmer side. Okay, so this is kind of the farm uh, manager's platform, where here I'm able to see all my different farms. Here I can see all my different fields, and I can see all the information pertaining to those fields. So let's say, and we're going to give you a very light demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to go into a specific field. Let's go to Texas corn. All right, let me just close that. All right, let it load up. I don't need that big. That's a little better. All right. So now we're on the field level. Okay. So the first thing I want you to notice, okay, is that here we have all these agronomical tools that we can utilize in the field. Okay. So treatments. So the system here can create you full protocols of treatments. All right. So based on you, once you created your polygon, and that's all you need, you just need to create a polygon and have a crop, of course. Once you have that, the system was already running models. Okay. So here I could have some treatment protocols. All right. These are preventative protocols. Okay. I can do scouting. So I can report scouting issues in the field. Okay. I can upload soil test. All right. Tissue, water analysis. I can upload that directly into the system. Okay. Fertilizer plans, the system automatically based on your target yield, it's already going to generate you the full fertilizer program. All right. Utilizing the fertilizers you want. All right. And the targets that you want to achieve. It gives you all that flexibility and ease. Okay. Um, water management, like I said before, with water management, here you can create your irrigation schedule. You can also see the precipitation and also rainfall. Okay. I'll just give you a little scenario just to give you, right? So a lot of questions people ask, well, what do we need to start? Well, you really don't need anything. You don't need data, but if you have extra, that's always good to upload previously historical. So I'm going to show you essentially what you need just to start. So here is creating a field in yieldsApp. All right. What we see here, all I need is to create a farm, create a field, define my growing method. I want to know how I'm going to grow it. Then the system will let me know, okay, I can upload a shapefile or I can create the boundaries manually. I'll just go back because I missed something. I apologize. All right. I can also make this field in multiple zones. So I could take one field and do different zones, different planting days, different varieties. I can create it the way I want to design it. Okay. Now, then we just have to define what we're growing there. The crop, the specific variety. All right. And this is all important because it's going to give you all the models, nutrition models, the pest and disease models. All those are connected to these crop data sets. Okay. I define how I'm going to irrigate it. All right. I could put the previous crop because this can trigger a pest or disease effect. All right. I set up my target yield. All right. I can set up ton acre, hectares, acres, imperial, metrics, totally fine. All different languages as well. All right. I set the planting date and I save. Once we save that, that's when the engine starts running in yieldsApp. Okay. It's gathering all that information, All right. What crop, where are we in location IP? What products are available? What is the crop specific needs? How are the weather, uh, climate conditions in that specific region? All right. This is what the system is doing right now. And right away, it starts generating information, live information. If there's an alert with a pest, it will be here. If there's a weather alert, it will show up here. It shows me my soil health score based on information. It shows me what treatments I need to apply. Okay. It knows what growing stage I'm at currently. All right. Now, this is without sensors or anything. All I did was the first one, two, three steps we did together right now. Everything else I can add into it. So if I have sensors, I can connect it, adding another layer. Weather stations, I can connect it. If you don't, we have those. We've we fill those missing points, voids. Okay. So we can really monitor. I can take a look in the field. I have all these different satellite indices to utilize. Okay. Vegetation, moisture index, topographics, the list goes on. All right. As I progress, I can see the schedule. I can see what's going to be a problem and when it's going to be a problem. All right. I know the total water amount that this crop needs. I know how much is remaining, and I know what's going to be needed in the next 7 days. Then we have our precipitation showing the season precipitation estimate. All right. Here we can see our nutrient budget. We can see at every specific nutrient, the specific nutrient budget trends. Okay. Okay. All right. As we progress a little bit lower, we have a full weather in real time. Here, I love this graph. Okay. So we have our temperature, we have our NDVI. All right. We'll just go here. So GDD. So here, let me take a look. Let me just show you this here. All right. So what you see here, this is really cool. I love this. It shows you, and I like to say the change of the climate. When I say climate change, people get a little upset, but I can see because here I'm showing historical data between 10 to 15 years of historical data, and in the green, unclick, is the current. So you can see the change of weather, okay, or climate change, whatever you guys prefer. All right, so I can look at see how the growth is progressing throughout the season in real time. Okay. As I progress, now I can see every action, every pending activity related to this individual field. All right. So this is on the farm side. Operational, we're getting all that information sent back. All right. In a way that we need to read it and understand it. What field's at risk? What field needs attention? What team needs to go there? Okay. What variety is doing the best? Okay. In what conditions and in what soil? Which farms are doing the best? Farmers are doing the best. What suppliers are providing the best? These are all things that the information and the answers GENI is able to provide. Okay. Because it starts from the ground all the way up and vice versa, where all the information comes up, then the decisions are trying to go down. All right. And then where I can say, hey, we're going to make some changes and instead of talking to every single one of your farmers, automatically is done in their system, ready to go. Okay. So what I'll do now is just to give you guys a little time because I do see there's a bunch of questions that we have here, and we'll spend some time right now to answer any questions you guys might have about GENI, our new feature. If there's something specific you guys would like to discuss, please feel free to reach out to us. Um, If not, if you enjoyed it, please stay tuned. Uh, Keep us in your contacts. We are doing weekly webinars, different topics, of course. GENI, sometimes it may be a specific crop, specific feature, uh, some new information. But again, we always like to try to give some informative information out there to all the people that are searching to improve their current status in their operations. Okay, so thank you for everybody that came. If anybody has questions, again, please feel free to reach out to us directly at yieldsApp.com to contact us. And if not, I'm going to answer some questions right now. Okay.